This is a piece that research team put together. And when I was talking to Jacob and the research team about this, he said, because what happens is a lot of people send emails to our research team. And when they do, the guys, they queue everything up and, and there's been a lot of questions over the years about mixing buying premium and selling premium. What happens when vol gets low? Should you ever buy premium? And we pretty much are only sellers. We don't really buy. But the question has come up, is it okay to buy?
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
I mean, how many emails have you gotten on that topic?
So hundreds, thousands.
Right, exactly.
Throughout the years, yeah.
Yeah. So Jacob and the team decided Jacob is one of our researchers, and he is our math expert. We have a couple of data scientists, we have a physicist, we have a bunch of really smart people, but Jacob is the smartest math mind we have. And so he took an in-depth look at this, and let's see what we got. It's very interesting results, a little surprising, some mixed. So at Tasty, our researchers led us to look for high probability trades. This preference leads us to mostly choose short premium positions where we can theoretically get paid for agreeing to take on risk. What he means by that is we're agreeing to take a limited profitability for unlimited risk in return for a high probability trade. But diversification is almost always good. Have the results for traders who chose to sometimes purchase options rather than sell options, have they differed at all? Let's take a look. So we used 15 years worth of data. We did the 20 delta strangles, and we looked at it from 3 different approaches: always selling strangles, always buying strangles, and then combining the two. Okay, following the short strangle winner with, following winning short strangles with another one, but following losing shorts with a long strangle. Okay, Bat, you got that?
Okay.
So this is when you have a losing position, following it with a long strangle, saying that maybe this thing's gotten away. Okay.
Got it.
And we managed all the positions.
Is what you're looking at, right?
Yeah, we managed all the positions when they reached 21 days. We closed positions when they had a profit of 50% of max profit. Okay. So it's all fun. And let's take a look at where we are.
It's all fun. It's all games. Let's see.
Until someone gets hit in the face, of course. Except Mike Tyson can't hit you in the face anymore. We learned that.
That's true.
So first we looked at SPY, and this is how we're going to set this up. There's a lot of slides. We're not going to go through every single one, but you can research them later on if you want. 21 days. These are 20 delta strangles. Okay. When you buy the strangle, you only win 27% of the time. These are all IVs. When you sell the strangle, you win 73% of the time. That's very consistent. But when you follow up your losing short strangle with a long strangle at the same delta, you win. The percentage doesn't drop off that much. Okay. So long strangles on their own don't work. Long strangles following up a short strangle loss did work. That's pretty interesting.
Okay.
Long strangles lost $21 over time, over whatever this was, 10 or 15 years.
Yes.
Short strangles made $21. So that's our game. But the combination of when you had a loser following up by a long strangle actually made money. So that was good. It doesn't happen that often, but when it does, it worked. Let's go next slide. That was SPY.
Yep.
Closing at 50%. I'm sorry. That was SPY with, go back one slide, Beth, for 1 sec. That's closing at 21 days. I'm sorry. That's 21 days. Closing at 50%. The next slide should be very similar, except in this case, because you waited longer, the long strangles actually did a little better. The short strangles did a little better too. And the mix did a little bit better. But the long strangles still were net losers. That's why you just can't go out and buy premium. But if you bought premium after a losing trade, the results were interesting here. Now remember, that's a very small case. There's not that many times. But when it does, it worked. Let's go next slide. And when you did no management at all, the only thing that worked was the short strangles. So the mixed trade only worked when there was management.
Got it.
Now, if you go to the next one, Beth, we just go through a bunch of these. So we looked at IWM next, and the results in IWM were very similar, almost exactly the same as the SPY. That's what at 21 days. Now, if you go to the next one, which is at 50%, this was also surprising. The IWM short strangles worked at 21 days, but 50%, they didn't do as good, and the mixed worked. Go to the next slide. This is no management at all, and the mixed lost, the long strangles lost, and the short strangles made a little tiny bit of money, but nothing really. The interesting thing here is that long strangles never work, but buying a long strangle after a short strangle failed actually worked a little bit. Let's go to the next slide. It's kind of reversing the position. I don't like it, but the results were.
I mean, we've had a market, and I don't know if they're going to talk about it, that's kind of gone in that direction. I know this is a long period of time of data here, but you need a continuing market for this to work. Would you?
Yeah, you need continuous. Yeah. If you go to the next slide, Beth.
And nobody knows the future, of course.
Yeah. Yep. What's interesting here is that short strangles and the Qs just haven't been that good. And it's funny because the Qs are the only thing where a long strangle actually worked, which really surprised me, but that's because of the crazy move we've had over the last, 15 years. And go to the next slide. This was surprising. This has not been a good stretch for Q strangles. Now, in my world, if I backtested this is when you probably want to put them on because they'll probably work from here.
Right.
But Qs are the only thing where a long strangle worked and a short strangle did. The only thing. Now, this is not taking into account IVR. And one of the things that we do to modify this entire process is we only do this when IVR is high, which will yield completely different results. But I wanted to bring this up because I think it's important that you see everything, and we don't necessarily, cherry pick any of this. Let's go to the next slide. So these are really interesting takeaways. Across all major 3 ETFs in 15 years, we saw noticeably improved results following a losing trade by taking the other side for the next cycle, provided the positions were managed. Note that since short strangles are high pop trades, this results in mostly selling premium, but occasionally buying. And these results are quite unexpected and require more in-depth analysis before making any significant strategic adjustments. For now, we begin to cautiously explore mixing some long premium positions after a losing trade on something that's like in a, I guess you would say like it's having like some kind of an extended move. It's still pretty mixed, and I don't necessarily like flipping the cards over. It's not part of my style, but the results were interesting.
The results were interesting. It's definitely not part of my repertoire, but they're definitely interesting.